Hey, good morning. It's Fort Worth Playboy. And if you can see this, I think we're having a problem with an error occurred. Wait a moment and then try again. Let's see if we got this. If you can see me, if you could comment in the uh, in the comment box. Let's see what we got going on. Okay, so we're going to go. I've got YouTube. I don't have Twitter. Hey, good morning, Mac Monkey. I appreciate it. I can't tell exactly if anyone can see me here or not. We're going to try it one more time. Twitter. Okay, good. It just took a second. So I want to appreciate you guys being here. Good morning. What do we do here on this? I'm the Fort Worth Playboy, and what do we do here on the Fort Worth Playboy Morning Show? We cover game, pickup, relationships, and sex. And when I say we, it's usually Bunny and I, my Playboy's Bunny, and I. This will come in on Thursday morning, usually together, but this is a group production, and I just happen to be leading it at this time. So we always start off the morning with a maxim. Let me get that up. And the maxim today is number 68. And it's an interesting and instructive, and it would be easy to misinterpret this also too. So I wanted to be careful with it. The definition of inner game is to hit on every woman who stimulates your crotch. You make life uncomfortable for them, not yourself. And the definition, well, and guys come to me, they're like, hey, I'm just starting out. What do I do first? And then I have guys that are advanced, and they're like, I don't get enough contacts. I have the skills, I just don't meet enough women. And it really comes down, and I give the same advice to everyone in the beginning for both classes of guys, is you need to say hi to every attractive woman you see. Every time you see an attractive woman, hey, how's it going? How's it going? You have to make it automatic. This is like the base skill to make yourself social, comfortable talking to other people, comfortable talking to women, and comfortable leading the conversation. Because without that, nothing else is going to happen. You can have all the great sex skills. You can have all the great dating skills. You can have all the best tech skills. And none of that matters if you can't physically say hi to an attractive woman who's in your space and in your face. So the definition of inner game is to hit on every woman who stimulates your crotch. And if it makes women uncomfortable, that is not your problem. And that's one thing that has to be conveyed, because I do get a lot of you get skittish guys and they've been watching TV, or they read too many stories of guys being sued for like saying hello to someone, or some girl, falsely accusing. These are all like National Enquirer Bigfoot stories. They do happen, but will they happen to you? It's like a shark attack. Most likely not. You'll be able to go into the ocean your entire life and never see a shark. You could most likely say hi to every woman you see the rest of your life, and no one's ever going to complain. So the key here is, and it's important because I know he put this in here for a reason, is to make life uncomfortable for them, not for yourself. Again, if you asexualize yourself, if you become just every girl's friendly buddy, you are in for a world of hurt. It's okay to put yourself forward, and women appreciate, like we always say, women will respect a guy who makes his manly desires known. You go in for the kiss. You ask her out. You go in for the kiss. You try to get her in bed. Even if she declines, she'll respect you more for making the attempt than she would knowing that you want to, and then you hold back. Your job is to lead with your dick, let your desires be known. And you can do it in subtle, just in game manner. But again, don't let girls just treat you like what we call a herb or just an asexual being, because you're not. And as soon as this kind of starts picking up, you become better at flirting. At girls know what you're there for. They know who you build a reputation, and then it tends to carry on. And then when you show up, your reputation precedes you. They know exactly who you are and what you're there for. And girls love guys that are desired by other women. But the definition of inner game, that self-centered confidence, is you hit on every woman that stimulates your crotch. That's why I tell guys, talk to every attractive girl you see. And if you're attracted to her, that should be your vibe. Make life uncomfortable for them, not for yourself. Guys are so worried about, again, some false accusation, some chick goes, oh, he made me feel uncomfortable. She's just looking for attention. She's just trying to let her friends know that even though she's overweight and old, that men still find her attractive, even if they don't. It's a competition. Again, your job is to go forward and let your desires be known through game, through you projecting yourself out into society. And then that's up to the girls to make their decision what they want to do with you. And most of them will end up sleeping with you nine times out of 10. So maxim number 68 is it's extremely important. It's extremely important that you go forward with the right attitude. Is the definition of inner game is to hit or say hi in your case on every woman who stimulates your crotch. Make life uncomfortable for them, not yourself. And like I said, the make life uncomfortable for them, that confused me for a long time. And then I came across where a link had been made to one of his articles about how men should project themselves out into the world. And you should project it as a man and let your desires be known through game. Again, it's subtle, but it makes a huge difference. Say hi to every attractive girl you see, and your life and your sex life and your romantic life will get much better very quickly. Next slide. He never texts. He just shows up. He hides me from his girlfriend, family, and friends. He stole money from me, and he fucked my roommate. I'm going to fuck him harder and make him mine. Again, this is girl logic, and I've got like 5 or 6 of these. And again, it's to really drive home how a girl's head works. It's not logical. It doesn't have to make sense. It's not even healthy, but it's actually how they work. 007 is really good about this stuff lately. He's in LA, dating in LA, which is, a minefield. But he says, if you're nice, don't date. And it's pretty interesting that is a good rule of thumb. If you're a nice guy, don't date. Wait until you have some type of edge, until you're so frustrated that you're like mean about it. And you have to be, and again, it's counterintuitive to most nice guys, to your average guys. The selfishness, the self-centeredness is attractive to women. Of course, there's a cutoff. There's a time where you kind of can't be the most selfish human being on the face of the earth, even though some guys try to live their entire lives that way. But he never attacks. He's self-centered. He's selfish. He's got other women on his mind. He just shows up. Again, he's unpredictable. He hides me from his girlfriend. He's already pre-selected. He already has a girl that she can compete against. Family and friends. He stole money from me. Again, he's a criminal. And he fucked my roommate. Again, he doesn't even think about it. And he's attractive enough to bang your roommate. All these things make you more attractive to her. It doesn't make sense to us. It's not how we're wired, but you can't project how we are attracted to what women find attractive. And what girls will say to themselves, instead of like, I'm going to cut this guy off, they'll say, you know what? I'm going to fuck him harder and make him mine. They want that. They want that troublesome, just got out of jail, unemployed, problem to be a part of their life. Sometimes they kind of outgrow it, but there's too many of these guys getting these girls pregnant, and then they're like stuck for life together through the children for girls to actually outgrow it. They just kind of stick with it. And that's girl logic. And you have to remember, you have to read a few of these and kind of keep them stuck in your mind when you go, that's not possible. And then you have to remember that it's not your brain, it's her brain. And girls' brains work differently. And this is exactly the process. And I need Bunny in here sometimes because she's good about, like, it's kind of like I say girls like all emotions, but she's able to kind of like walk it into, like, because girls do, like, they like ups and downs and depression and crying, and it's enjoyable, but she couches it in how they actually process it and how they feel about it, and why it's a positive to women to be up and down when men can't stand it. So that's just an example. He never texts. He just shows up. He hides me from his girlfriend, family, and friends. He stole money from me. He fucked my roommate, and I'm going to fuck him harder and make him mine. And I have known guys and girls in this exact situation. This is exactly how it plays out. And this is the reality of it. You read it and you're like, that's stupid. And then you realize that that's actually how things work. You want to make yourself, and I always say this is one of those things that's good in business and good in dealing with women. It's an older tweet, but I retweeted. He said, I fucked at the nightclub where I was a security guard. It's problematic, but was not easy to not do. Bitches everywhere wanting action. They just don't care about my job. Bitches can turn around against you for any reason, anytime, and make your job impossible. Follow Jezebels. Again, we're talking about fucking a coworker, but more important about this is being in the right environment. Being in the right environment will increase your close rate exponentially. I got lucky. I started working the door purely by accident when I was in college, at like one of the last great singles nightclubs in the 80s. And it was kind of a carryover from the 70s, like local baseball players, local pro ball players would come in, wealthy guys, just everyone. And it was one of the last great singles bars. And I was there for like 3 years when I was in college. The environment mattered. I learned a lot in the right environment. Had I not been there, say I was working at 7-Eleven, I would have had a different experience. If I had been working, driving, a truck, my experience would have been different. I would have been in the wrong environment to learn about women. But you want to put yourself in an environment where you don't have to be that good to be successful. Bartenders, top of the list, DJs, doormen, security, club promoters, all get laid like tile. It's the right environment. You mix lots of women, lots of single, youngish women, and you add in alcohol to any environment, and you're going to increase your close rate. That's just the way it is. And so you have to, if you were to decide, you know what, I want to spend a year or two just getting very, 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 very good with women. It's this one weakness I have, and everything else seems to have its shit together. 2 years as a bartender or a bar back or working in a nightclub, and you only have to work there 3 days a week, you would learn more about women than you could ever in any other job year after year. Maybe photographers, maybe guys that are in media, but again, that's a completely different thing. We're talking about something you can kind of go into without any skills, and they'll teach you on the ground. But you will learn more about women because you're in a high contact, relaxed, sexually charged environment. You want to be in the right environment. And we say this even like and the first time I ever heard this was like from Dan Kennedy, who's like a business coach. In the gym business, you want people that have lots of disposable income for personal training, because you can be the best trainer, but if you're in a low income neighborhood, no one can afford your services. But if you go into a high income neighborhood, you don't even have to be that good, And you can close people because there's so much disposable income around. You want to put yourself into an environment where you don't have to be that good to be successful. And when it comes to women, college, that's why guys, when they go into it, we're like, look, you're never going to be in a better environment to meet and learn about and have sex with women and learn everything you can for 4 years. You're never going to be in a better environment. It's just the way it is. And next to that, anything that has a nightlife, like bartenders, DJs, doormen, club promoters, you're just going to meet a lot of women. And you're going to be in the right place at the right time, and things will happen. Again, it's the right environment. And it's like he says, it was problematic because it was not easy to avoid women in his job as a security guard. It can become a problem. Again, then now you've got different problems, but at least they're problems that you were looking for and you could have. So again, if you're struggling, if you want to learn quickly, or if you just want to really indulge in something like this and you have the time and the space in your life and you're single, these are the jobs that will put you in the right environment. You'll learn a lot in a short, and you don't have to do it forever. I always try to convey that to guys. They're always like, I don't want to be a bartender no, you only have to do it for like 2 years and you'll have seen everything that you need to see. 5 years, any profession, 5 years to see everything at least once. But when you're talking about something, you want to hit it and get it. Two years is usually long enough. And again, that's the bottom line on your environment. Do a security sweep of the house after she's gone. Girls love to leave shit behind. Again, I always encourage men to have a dedicated lost and found box, because girls, no matter what, intentionally and unintentionally, are going to leave things behind. They're going to leave a scarf. They're going to leave a shirt. They're going to leave a bra. They're going to leave panties. They're going to leave hair clips, lots of hair stuff. And this is not the same as them slipping in a toothbrush or starting to use your closet as storage, or they move their hair dryer in, or they like a certain thing for breakfast, so now it's sitting on your counter. Again, that's the next level in general, and you have to deal with that when you come across it. But again, girls will always leave stuff behind. And yes, if you're a player, generally, it's okay if other girls kind of like come across it. It's sort of bad form, but it's not going to make or break your game, because they know and they find it interesting that you are attractive to other women. They know other women have been through there before them. But do a security, because you never know. And that way, if she does call and go, hey, have you seen my pink bra? You don't go, oh, fuck, where is this thing? It's like in your sheets. So do a security sweep of your house after she's gone, because girls truly do love to leave shit behind. And I usually include a video where this girl's talking about she didn't mean to leave something behind, but she still had to go over and get it. And she goes, and it was really nice that I could see him again. Again, girls do this stuff consciously and unconsciously, but they want a reason to come back around. They want to they don't want to drop in because you'll have another girl there the next day or the same day. But they will want to have a reason to reach out to you. Again, it just makes things easier. It makes things easier for them because they stayed overnight, or they banged you, and they want to find out if you're going to be around or not, or if it was like a pump and dump. And she'll know by you responding or not responding. Again, always do a security sweep of the house after she's gone. Girls love to leave shit behind. Next slide. If you guys have any questions, got to go to YouTube, put in the comment box. It's the day after 4th of July. You guys waking up. Hopefully you got all your fingers. You're not too hungover. And this should be a good 3-day weekend from this point forward. When presented with a pretty young woman with an older man, older women always go with the she's only there for the money angle. Even when the guy is driving a 20-year-old Corolla, always. It must be their default setting. People that don't know any better either guy, and you find this in general attraction and pickup and game. People that are on the outside looking in see something that doesn't look right, and they don't understand charisma, and they always say, well, he must have money. It's the default. And maybe it's the programming that people, because everything on TV and on the internet shows are like aspirational. Everybody's living like a level above how they really would. Like you see a cop who makes 40 or 50 grand a year, in $1 million home. You always see things materially that is way higher than these people could actually do in real life and what your quality of life really looks like. So I think there's a correlation between seeing an average schlub and an attractive woman, and it's got to be money. It can't be he has a great personality. It can't be that he learned how to pick up women in 6 months and use those skills to like meet her. I mean, none of that is going to compute. It's got to be like, oh, he's got have a lot of money. Even though girls in general don't even understand money. They don't have any money. They don't know what it will buy. They don't know how much anything costs. Most girls have never actually managed any money. They don't know what it is. Their purse has been empty from the age of 12, and now they're 32, and they've never had any money. But they've gotten through each day. And you'll talk to girls. You'll see a group of 3 or 4 girls that go out. They don't have $1 between them. So you have to realize that women across the board, in general, and you will find, do not care about money. They do not understand. As long as everything's kind of like taken care of and nobody's like repossessing their car, they're not being asked to leave their house, their children are clothed and fed, people are pretty happy. It's pretty much a realistic, non-focused thing when presented with pretty young women and older men. Again, generally, he's got something going on. They can go do stuff. Again, a little bit of money goes a long way. And the money that a guy at 40 is making is substantial compared to the money that a guy that's 20 is making. There's a huge difference. And even the 40-year-old, it's not that much. It's just enough. It's to do things. So it appears to be greater than it is. It's just enough. So she's only there for the money. She's there for the excitement. She's there for the interesting guy. And she knows all this is temporary. That's one thing that people are always like, well, what do they talk about? Well, you don't talk a lot. You fuck a lot. Everybody, what's their common interest? They love to fuck each other. That's the bottom line. People don't want to hear that, but that's the truth with the age gap thing. Even when the guy's driving a 20-year-old Corolla, they will always throw the money thing up. And it's a default setting. So you can ignore it and move on with your life. You don't have to have much money to date who you want to date. It's not an issue. You will be amazed once you take it out of the equation and see what you end up with. Next slide. Game, 90% of game is what not to do. It's not making the mistakes that your beta guys, your average guys, your guys that don't know any better make. Again, just like having a plan. Most guys, the vast majority, 90% will show up to a date, as hard as it is to believe, without a plan at all. What do you want to do? What kind of food do you like? That is their date. Whereas if you simply have a plan, you'll be ahead of 90% of the population. And one of the key factors is what not to talk about. It's not about what you do talk about, because if you throw enough things out, you'll be left with the things that work. Again, don't talk about your job. And I don't give a fuck if you're an astronaut, astrophysicist, doctor, engineer. No one cares. She doesn't care. She doesn't understand what it is. And it bores her to tears. She doesn't care. Your ex, always a minefield. Again, guys, especially relatively newer, divorced or broken up guys, they want to talk about it. And then they get into it. And then they're crying. I mean, I've talked to enough girls that talked about going out with some dude that was just newly divorced, and he got emotional about it. And nothing dries a pussy faster than some old guy crying about his ex-wife and him losing all of his shit. So your ex is off the table. Again, they are going to ask, you know what? Well, you know, we grew separately and we decided to part ways, and I wish her well. That's all you ever say. Whatever it is, it's a healthy breakup. You guys are amicable and you've moved on. And I don't care if it happened yesterday. That's your response. We grew apart. We decided to part ways, and I wish her well. That's it. Then you move to the next. You find something more interesting to talk about. Politics is off. Do not let anybody drag you into a political talk, debate, anything. Again, what her politics are doesn't matter. Girls will, after they start fucking a guy, pick up his beliefs. They will change how they see things according to the man that they're having, or men that they're having sex with. If she's a liberal, you're a big Trump guy, she knows that. And then after you banged her 4 or 5 or 6 or 7, 8, 10 times, she's been around for a week or 2 or a month or 2 months, she's going to start picking up your views subtly, slowly. Again, she listens to country, you listen to hard rock, she's probably going to change that. And that's just the way it is. Women pick up, they're like a radio. They just adjust to what's coming through. So let the politics, don't let them drag you into it. It's one of those things. And it's also a shit test, because girls will test a guy, and if he doesn't know any better, he'll get drug into that conversation. But you know better. So you just laugh at her, nag her, change the subject, and move on to something more interesting and fun for you. Again, religion. That's another thing. It's just try to avoid it. You know, it doesn't come up like it used to. It used to be like a big deal, but you don't hear it as much. And I think because everyone knows it's a minefield. But the politics, girls will like play the politics game, just wanting to smoke you out, because betas will talk about it and alphas know it's not anything of any concern for anyone, and it's not even that interesting. So on the first date, you want to avoid all these: job, ex, politics, religion, and Nixon says the weather in general. And again, these are the things that if you avoid it, it forces you to focus in on because these are minefields. These are things that will bore her, or you get into an argument and then everything goes down and you're like, you wasted your fucking day. You wasted your evening. So that's the real deal. So I'm going to cover a question. And it's from Mac Monkey. So we're closing that one out. Question from Mac Monkey. Using the GI Bill to meet college women, a good idea or a bad idea? Does going to college early to mid-20s instead of right out of high school have any advantages, disadvantages? Okay. The GI Bill is free money. You've already invested in it, and it's there. It's multiplied. I think we invest like $1,200 or, and you get like $100,000 back or whatever you need for. It's there for a reason. Should you go to college just to meet women? I would probably say no. I mean, it's a fringe benefit, but if you really like enjoy the trades, or you're already a skilled mechanic, or you are working on jet engines, or skills that you've picked up, I would stay with what you're doing. And if you really want to be around women, I would do the part-time gig in the right environment. We talked about bartending, working the door as security. Get yourself into the right environment. If you are on a college track, you have a profession that you want to pursue that is specific, you got to have a degree. You want to go into finance, you want to go into something specific, and it's required. Yeah, use that GI Bill. And you can use the GI Bill for skill, for trades too. Make no mistake. I mean, you can use it for any type of training or voucher. I've even seen it used for like personal training certifications, personal training licenses. It's really crazy what they'll cover. But and I'll couch this in that, let's say you do want to go to school, you want to get a certain degree that has to, you want to become an engineer. focus in, yes, use a GI Bill for school. You'll be in the right environment. You can meet chicks. It won't be in the engineering school. They'll all be in the marketing, or they'll be in like English or early childhood development. But you can get an engineering degree that you're set for life. And going back in your early to mid 20s is an advantage. It gives you a little bit of space. It gives you a little bit of age gap. Remember, girls like that 3 to 5 years. And the fact that you've already been in the military, you've already seen real life up close and lived it. I've not met a person that was in the military active duty that college wasn't a cakewalk. It was literally just laughably funny. And I went to college, then went to the military, and I wish I'd flipped it, because you will just come out of it and go, oh my God, that was easy. Compared to what you did in the military, you will find, unless you're talking like, med school, that sort of thing, but generally most degrees will be laughably casual, and your days, the quality of life will be so high compared to being in the military and living the military life. You will be shocked, and you'll be in the right environment, and you'll meet a lot of chicks. You will have all kinds of advantages of experience. You'll have some money in your pocket. Sometimes GI Bill will pay a stipend. If you want to go into ROTC, you can become commissioned. There's all kinds of benefits to going back and using that GI Bill. Again, remember, it's money. It's multiplied, and it's already there for you, and you've already invested in it. And like Eric Carroll says, it's such a good experience, Mac, a much better perspective and so much easier. Again, what blows my mind too sometimes is like thinking back guys that I knew, but I didn't know what they had actually really accomplished, like going into the Marines the summer before their senior year, and then would come back, finish their senior year, and then go on active duty. You're like, fuck, those guys were way ahead of the curve. You're a grown man basically when you come out of that. I don't care how old you are, 17, 18, and you're ready for anything that life throws at you at that moment. But yeah, you will be better prepared, and you will appreciate what's in front of you and your environment much better. So I think it's definitely a plus should you go that track. But I appreciate the question. It's a solid question. It's a common question for us, like 8% of us that have actually been in the military. The vast majority haven't anymore. So that's the real deal. I appreciate you guys being here this July 5th. And I'm going to end this broadcast. If you like what you see, like it, share it, subscribe. And if you would like to invest in yourself, in your game, and in us, you can go to myplayboysbunny.gumroad.com or fortworthplayboy.gumroad.com. All of our products are there. We probably have at least 50 between the two of us. And I always recommend Bunny's Fuck Like a Porn Star series. It's just unbeatable. And no reason to close the deal and then not close it as best you can. If you guys like what you see, share it. And we will see you guys on Twitter later today. And I appreciate your time. Have a great, great day.